sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. What an NBA season this was, my goodness gracious, and the playoff season as well. We created over 85 pieces of video in the 65 or so days of the playoffs. So thanks for being on that incredible run with us. And let's talk about Game 7 because it was one for the ages. Normally these things turn into blowouts or rough games, but this one went down to the wire. And we had 50 or 60 clips to go through. I had to pare it down, so we decided to look at just the fourth quarter because it had a lot of microcosm of what was happening for the rest of the game. So let's look exactly what happened with the offense and defense. Now, the offense for both sides was a little bit strange. The Heat were actually running a lot more good offense, the things that we were pointing out throughout the series before this they weren't doing. They finally got all of a sudden in Game 7. And the Spurs, on the other hand, kind of went away from what their system was that got them such great shots and sliced up the Heat defense. So it was a very strange reversal of roles here, and let's show you what we found and how the Heat pulled this game out and the title. We start off the fourth with LeBron getting a quick elbow screen from Anderson. Battier, who was on fire with 4 3-pointers, is being guarded by Gary Neal, who helps way too much. Look how Diaw is already in position, and so is Danny Green. An easy pass by LeBron gets Battier an open look for his 5th three. Manu dares LeBron to shoot this three, and on the miss, watch how LeBron foolishly gambles in the backcourt for the steal. He never had a chance, and the Spurs take advantage by getting an open shot in the scramble, and LeBron's man gets the rebound and putback. The Spurs went away from some of their best offensive sets, possibly because LeBron was guarding Parker so much. However, in Game 6, they simply screened for Parker and got a switch. In Game 7, they run a pin down for Neal, who curls, but then jumps out to the perimeter in a weird cut I haven't ever seen them do before. This sends Parker into purgatory in the corner, and Neal has to attack with his weak hand on a pick and roll. This nightmare of a possession culminates in Parker getting tied up and results in a turnover. Another simple ball screen for Miami results in Chris Bosh slipping it before the contact. Parker takes a bad angle, and Duncan assumes Parker would be able to slide in and stop the direct line attack by Chalmers. Instead, he gets an uncontested layup. The Spurs finally get back to some clever offense with a screen and roll on the left side, but it's really a double pin down for Neal on the right. The double ball screen is actually a ruse, as Danny Green pops out and gets a screen from Duncan. The pass is a fraction late, allowing Chalmers to get a little bit closer than Green had wanted, and he can't knock the shot down. The Heat turned to Dwayne Wade often in straight-up isolation on the left side throughout this game. This time LeBron wanders over to set a ball screen, gets the switch of Neal onto LeBron, but Wade doesn't take advantage, deciding to drive and skip. Great defense by the Spurs to contain everything and force the air ball. Coming down on the attack, it's curious to see Tony Parker go to the weak side corner. Battier doesn't put that much pressure on Green, yet he ignores Duncan trying to get position in the low post and drives it toward the baseline with his left hand, playing right into the Heat's hands. Terrible cross-court pass results in a turnover and a foul. The Heat did a good job getting the switch on pick and rolls all game. And while Duncan plays this perfectly, giving up only a long contested 2-pointer, Wade comes through and hits it. The Spurs were out of sync much of the night in their half-court offense. This looks like it should be the loop play where Parker gets 3 screens across the court. Instead, it turns into a pin down on the same side. Neal and Manu do a simple exchange, and Manu just drops the ball out of bounds. Coming back down the court, Kawhi gets LeBron turning around, a big no-no in transition defense. LeBron does cut him off, and Kawhi pitches it back to Manu, who crumbles under Wade's jump out pressure and just throws the ball away. Here's one of Miami's pet plays, the pin down for the point guard, then the point guard screens LeBron. This gets another switch of Duncan onto LeBron, who isolates and hits another long, tough, clutch jumper, the exact shot Duncan wants him to take. The Spurs do get into another good set where they set a back screen for Parker, then have Duncan duck in for low post position. However, Kawhi can't hit the open Duncan down low until he's lost his prime position, and on this move you can see how Duncan initiates the contact and doesn't deserve a call from the refs. Another point guard ball screen, but Chalmers gets shy and won't actually screen Leonard. This allows Leonard to stay with LeBron, but Duncan helps one pass away. That said, he gets a hand up and Bosh continues his Game 7 troubles. The Heat defaulted to their 5-man out elbow screen set for much of this night. Bosh got called for an illegal screen earlier. It's not clear why this wasn't called as he slides up and into contact. This again forces a Tim Duncan switch onto LeBron. The Spurs get the exact play they want, yet LeBron hits it again. Manu makes up for the 2 turnovers with a seemingly bad 3-point shot taken without much movement and lots of time on the clock. With Chalmers on Parker, the Spurs had good success with a simple isolation and blow-by. However, Parker calls for a ball screen with Kawhi being guarded by Wade instead of their best screener and roller, Tim Duncan. This almost works well as Parker gets a decent look and Duncan is on the weak side to get the rebound. However, instead of powering it back up to the rim, he looks to pass it back out, gets pushed out of bounds by Bosh before throwing it away in a costly turnover. LeBron attacks strong up the middle of the court. The Spurs simply can't get back in transition fast enough, and Battier gets yet another open 3. However, Tim Duncan makes up for it by sprinting right to the rim where Manu has been finding him all series long with a simple bounce pass. While it looks like a travel, Duncan is free to pick up and put down that right foot wherever he chooses. And Bosh tries the old veteran trick of pushing him in the back while the other hand goes up to contest. It took almost the entire series, but the Heat finally got LeBron screening away from the ball, something very simple but effective as Wade curls and gets a nice pass from Battier for the finish. This play works because Kawhi is afraid to help off LeBron too much that close to the basket. While Bosh didn't score in this game, give him credit for some key stops of Duncan down low in the post. On this one, Duncan tries to get the drop step on him, and normally once you get this step lower than your defender, you're going to score. However, Bosh keeps moving his feet, gets his foot in position and his arms straight up for the contest. For whatever reason, Tony Parker was much less involved than normal in the offense, and on this pick and roll, the Spurs spacing is off on the weak side, allowing LeBron to guard 2 people at once. A nice double by Battier forces Duncan to retreat, and Manu's jump in the air shot fake pass to Kawhi gets him some daylight to nail this shot and cut the lead to 2. Improbably, they get the ball to Chalmers in the corner where LeBron screens for him. Kawhi gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar, but gets away with it when Chalmers chokes both free throws. Without calling a timeout, the Spurs look disorganized. Danny Green and Manu are standing next to each other on the weak side, and Kawhi takes a quick 3 when they were only down by 2 with lots of time left. This is certainly not the shot they wanted. The Heat basically isolate Wade again on the left side, with Bosh coming over to screen at the end. Kawhi Leonard doesn't find his man, the best player on the planet, who hadn't been crashing the offensive glass much before this, and LeBron grabs a key offensive rebound. In what was even a worse shot than Leonard's, Battier jacks up a long 3 with 20 seconds on the shot clock, a potential series-losing shot for them. Another silly gamble by LeBron in the backcourt allows the Spurs to come right down and exploit Shane Battier on Tim Duncan in the low post. In the most shocking play of the night, Duncan misses the bunny and the chance to tie the game. The Heat again run their point guard ball screen for LeBron, and the Spurs defend it the way they want to, but LeBron nails the 20-footer to just about ice the game. In a very curious move, Popovich opted to bench Parker even though there was plenty of time on the clock. The Heat break my cardinal rule of defense on a sideline out of bounds play: never let the pass go directly to the post. Here's when it gets problematic though. Manu is a lefty, and I would have had him fake to the baseline, then come back towards the middle on the cut. He could finish with his strong hand at the front of the rim, free from the constraints of the baseline. Instead, he goes along the baseline and gets trapped. It's almost fitting the game ended on a turnover by Manu after jumping in the air to pass. Had he eliminated this completely non-fundamental play from his arsenal, there is no doubt in my mind the Spurs would have won the title. In a rare display of happiness by a losing coach, Gregg Popovich truly looks pleased to have been part of one of the best finals we've ever had. I know he feels as if his system and preparation did what it was supposed to do and basically was enough to win the title, save for just a few bounces that didn't go their way. So there you have it, sports fans. There's no doubt in anyone's mind the Spurs really, their best chance was Game 6. And the idea that it would just sort of fall into Bosh's hand and then Ray Allen could kind of back up and be perfectly on the right side for an easy pitch while he catch and shoots a three to tie the game. It just is an incredible play that it just seems almost unfair to the Spurs that it had to play out that way, because they pretty much did what they had to do to win the title in Game 6. And in Game 7, I'm a little frustrated that the enduring image in my mind is going to be Tim Duncan missing that easy shot at the rim against Shane Battier. He's had an incredible career, a resurgence at 37, and to have him miss that one really kind of hurts. I think there isn't anyone out there that wishes good for him and would hope that he could have finished that play, and at least let's see what would have happened had they tied the game, because they would have gotten the ball back. Would have been a really, really interesting finish. And we didn't get that, and it's really too bad. But again, whenever you count the Spurs out, everyone every year forgets about them. Boom, there they are, right ready to take the championship from you. So I anticipate them having another good run. I think Manu might end up calling it quits. He really had a poor finals and was probably responsible for some of those losses. And had they played him less time, I think they would have won another one of those games. So, but there's a lot to be said for the loyalty that Gregg Popovich displays toward his team and toward Manu, who's given them so many great moments. So I can't really fault that, but there was a couple moments there I think we all realized that if Manu had played less, they probably would have won without some of those mistakes he made. So anyhow, awesome season for everybody here. Thank you for making us the most popular online channel devoted to basketball fundamentals. There isn't anyone that does what we do, and I have you to thank for being part of the conversation and making it as popular as it is, and we are growing by leaps and bounds, and we're going to have even more great content all summer long. I'm going to get on the court and work with players and show you a lot of the things that we talked about, so you can get a really firm understanding of what we mean about ice and pick and roll and sideline and all those things we talk about, horns. So we're going to display all those things for you on the court. We're going to have interviews with NBA players and coaches. We're going to have lots of things from the NBA Summer League. We'll have retro breakdowns and lots more. And don't forget, if you want to suggest something, make sure you tweet it out or email us or make a comment in the YouTube channel. We'll get it and we'll take a look at it. I'll do anything once. Well, thanks for joining us, sports fans. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?